some of my clients get so many organic inbound website leads, they turn off their Facebook ads because they don't have to anymore. They have enough volume just from their website.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Tim Sarazen. He's the CEO of 97display.com, which is a website and PPC agency in the fitness niche. Tim, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for having me. High level crew on a 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we're drinking coffee to get through. So
yeah, we're gonna make it. We're gonna bring a little bit of thunder here because we're talking about one of my favorite topics, which is websites. Prior to High Level, I ran an agency, did hundreds of website projects, so I know the game pretty well, as they say. And Tim is going to bring some interesting insights that I have a feeling I'm going to agree with a lot of it. And you know what caught
this will be fun.
What caught my attention was when you mentioned how every local business needs to reevaluate their website strategy. Talk to me about that. Where, I mean, things change fast in the website world, and like a website that was built 5 years ago is pretty much ancient at this point, right?
Yeah. Okay. So anyone tuning into this, if you have a short attention span and this 45 to hour long video, whatever, if you only listen to this, take away this nugget. Technology is changing really fast. And whereas your website or your client's website, a local business website, used to be like their digital business card, it's all about them, what do they do, what do they offer? That has shifted fundamentally. And they need to reevaluate it and now present a website, which is one thing and one thing only, which is, how does this business solve the client's needs? So once again, it's client focused, client needs. And you know, the beautiful thing, which we'll dive into, is you can know what your client needs are, and you can know exactly how to structure your website to convert that traffic into leads. It's an exciting thing, and we can go in depth on it.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, we always internally, as our guide, when we're kind of coming up with copy or thinking about things, it's to sell the whole and not the drill, right? Like High Level has a million features, but every time you get on with somebody and you start throwing features, you can see they just kind of glaze over, right? And we're like, no, focus on what it solves for them. Like, does your agency have a churn issue? Yeah, we can reduce that. Oh, that would be fantastic, right? So is that sort of what you mean when you say like shift the focus? Don't talk about like, hey, we do SEO and PPC and and we're the best and It's more about like, what is your business's needs and how will our agency solve?
Well, okay, so if you run a B2C agency, whereas you're running ads for a local business that's targeting their local community. So let's just say gyms, for example. Okay.
Yeah. I should backtrack. You guys focus on fitness, right? So let's use that scenario because we have a lot of agencies that market in that
niche. To solar, to roofing, to HVAC, to plumbing, to legal, to dentists, to gyms, to martial arts, whatever. Okay, so if you're running an ad, right? You know, that consumer that's seeing that ad is really benefit unaware or problem unaware. They are not in the market for a gym right in that moment. You're trying to convince them to join the market. Whereas someone Google searching gym near me, going to the website, they're a little bit further down the funnel. And what's going on through their mind in that moment is, who is the best service provider for me to give my money to? And the way that they determine who is the best service provider is not the promotion. It's not the deal. It's not the graphic. It is foraged through a few things. Number one, does the website have what I'm looking for? Like, is it very clear that I belong in this website? And then what does the community say about them? Like, what are their reviews? And then also, who the heck are these people? Like, so do they have what I'm looking for? Does society speak well about them? And is this person a trustworthy person? Oh, and then finally, do I know what it is that you want me to do? What is the call to action? So we're actually not going to go into it today about how to construct a website that converts like crazy. That's what my agency does. If you guys want to talk about it, there's going to be some contact info here on this, and we'll bring it up. But today it's about, if you run an agency and you only sell like even SaaS, or you only sell PPC, and you aren't selling websites, this is the video for you. My goal is to educate you on how to upsell your PPC clients on websites on a new model that is called WAS, Websites as a Service.
Here we go.
So Chase, where you said you did tons of website projects, what a lot of agency owners fear when they hear that is tons of design iterations, tons of back and forth, 6-month launches, hardly any ROI, and certainly no recurring. But this new model, which I have built a multi-million-dollar agency on top of, is websites as a service. And I had a really good month last month. I sold $250,000 annualized ARR of last revenue last month. And I would love to show how I did that.
This is so great because, I've been having conversations saying the same thing. The old website model makes no sense. Like you said, it's a one-off project that's usually really painful, that just ends. And so then the money stops. But nowadays, everything is a service, right? So in my mind, I was thinking of it as websites on demand. Same thing, website as a service, right? Because then, sure, we can iterate for a long time because you're going to be paying for the website every month. You know what I mean?
And it's actually far less work than PPC because the longevity of a site is typically longer. Now, don't get me wrong. You said if you had a website 5 years ago, it's outdated. I would contest if you have a website 1 year ago, it's outdated. And there's lots of great ways we can explain this this topic. I actually had a couple slides to help organize me. If you guys are
hop into it.
You guys are like techie entrepreneurs. You guys know how we can bounce from idea to idea to idea. But I want you guys to get a lot of value on this. So I really want to like structure the conversation in a formal way, and Dex helped me do that. So are you cool if I share my screen?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. Can you see this?
Loading. There we go. There we go. Yep.
Okay, so I did have a great month last month. The annualized value of the contracts I sold last month was worth over $250,000 for my agency. And I'll talk about why I did this, but why you should sell websites. Well, it's because you're going to create stickier clients, and you can reduce your churn by up to 30%. It's an amazing stat. I'll justify it and show you how in a minute. You can increase your niche authority. So if you're trying to be dominant in a niche and you aren't making websites, other people are better than you. That's just the fact. And in the minds of your clients, you can be a well-rounded agency by selling websites to them as well. And then the cool thing is you can increase your appointment show rate. And this is all, even if you're not a web designer and you have no desire to become one. I don't know how to build a website, okay? And I around the portfolio of over 1,000 websites. So it's possible. And on that
I'm sure that we're going to talk about that, right?
That's true. And I will explain that. But yeah, increasing appointment show rate, a little teaser there. If you're running an appointment booking service with HighLevel, what happens after those leads book appointments? They're like, who the heck did I just book an appointment with? What do? They Google search that business's name. And what do they find? They find the business. And if that business's perception is poor based on their online presence, what does that guy do? They second guess that appointment. So it is, I've seen this time and time and time again. So most agency owners, they are afraid to sell websites because they fall into one of these 4 categories. They don't know how to build a website, or the technology is overwhelming. That's valid, but we'll discuss this. It's really easy to overcome. Or like Chase used to do, they allow the client to control the design specs, which you don't want to do. I'll show you how. Or they don't see the money because it's like, cool, someone doesn't want to spend a couple $1,000s up front, and then when it's done, it's done. And I'll show you how we can overcome that. And you have to take a guru course on how to do this. Right? If only there was a guru course. Okay, so if you're watching this and you are a digital marketing agency serving local businesses and you want to upsell your PPC clients, you can get $100 to $700 MRR per website with a retention of 2 years plus. I've done it for 8 years now. And it all depends on the niche that you're in and the number of services that you're providing, but it definitely is lucrative. And like I said, it actually will reduce your overall churn rate, which I'll discuss here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last month I had a good month. Okay, yeah, I kind of cheated with that stat. The truth is, I went to an event last month and I sold a bunch of websites, right? But it's true. So I went to Scottsdale, first trip from—
That's fair.
Yeah, but it's true. It's a real thing. I have a great network in the fitness niche. I have a team of 26 staff here in North Carolina that fulfill and do great stuff for me. I am the biggest website provider in the martial arts industry. I don't say that to brag. It's just a proof that it works and you can do it if you niche out. Also, I don't know how to build websites. Anyway, and like just a little bit about us in that event, which I was pretty proud of. Cool. So local business website facts, why it's going to be so easy for you to sell websites. First of all, they're already paying for a website or hosting or SEO or maintenance. Like it's already in their marketing budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any of these guys are already spending the money. All you have to do is capture a slice of that pie. I estimate that 40% of your clients, if you are in the local business niche, if you ask them to please raise your hand if you're dissatisfied with your current website offering and are open to a change, 40% of them are going to raise their hand, if not more.
Totally.
And they don't know why they're dissatisfied, but you guys know this already. If you're an agency owner, you guys probably have people asking you about websites already. Those are the most desperate ones. There's a lot of people that would love to give you money to help them. So if you can present a new opportunity that adds value, you can capture this revenue they're already spending. It's easy to get them to shift money spent to you than spend more money. Right? Capturing existing marketing slices is always good. So to help illustrate this point and how I sell websites, so I'm going to tell you a story, the tale of two websites. So this gym owner, 15 years in the community, highly qualified, strong track record. This guy was the man, right? He ranked #1 for a long time. He had this old school website that he hadn't touched in a long time. He was a PPC agency client. Well, what happened was a bro opened up in town, right? I opened up another gym across the street. Personally teaching all the lessons, low quality instruction. He's new, he's passionate, he's trying his hardest, but he was high tech know-how and he was really good with hashtags. And so my client, old school client, comes to me and says, my website leads have stopped coming in. What happened? And my ranking has gone down. So he had high ranking and something happened. New bro comes in town. And when new consumers were entering the market, guess what? They didn't know about my client's 15 years of experience. They didn't know. All they knew was I Googled gym near me, personal trainer near me. And I went through the website. And what happened was that their perception of who was best was influenced by the lens of the website. And they were choosing the new guy, right? So my guy, who is the better trainer, who is the more established, who would actually help them better, was losing out on these new opportunities because his website was not accurately portraying an accurate picture of his quality. And he was then at that point relying on PPC, referrals, word of mouth. And that's not how it always was for him. Yeah, so the website is the lens through which their community perceives their value. So if you have a client that's like, oh, I've had my website for a long time, it's great. Okay, what do their competitors' websites look like? Because when that person Googles gym near me, they're going to bounce from site to site to site, and whoever is perceived as the best wins. And you know how consumers perceive, Chase, how do you think consumers perceive who's the best based on websites now?
Oh, there's a bunch of factors, but I think the first one would be speed. If the site just doesn't load, you're out of there.
Exactly. Bingo. If it takes longer than 2 seconds to load, like they're out of there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like it doesn't matter what your website said, what it looks like, what images, your bio, your long, whatever. But if it doesn't load fast, they're out of there. How does it load on their new iPhone or old iPhone, right? Their new MacBook, their old MacBook, their new Chrome or their old Chrome, right? So all this stuff is important. That's why WAS is the future. Because guess what HighLevel's doing? Updating that stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
So consumers are introduced to your customers' brands through their online presence, and their initial reactions form based on the way they present themselves online. This is all relative to their competitors, right? So if they have no competitors, they can get away with a bad website. But if they have new or fierce competitors, then they've got to do something about it. So the website's sole purpose is to increase the value perception judgment call of consumers researching online. Okay. It is not to tell their story. It is not to brag about themselves. It's not to be a digital business card. It is only to convince the consumers that when they Google gym near me or dentist near me, that this dentist is the best dentist. So once you start talking like this with your clients, right, they're going to say, well, how do I do this? And it shifts away from design. It shifts towards technical. And there is a proven formula of how to.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all of a sudden going to stop saying, I want my website to look like this. Instead, they're going to say, Chase, what should my website look or function like? What's most important? You're shifting a new message. We don't have enough time to talk about the website structure. I have a lot of this stuff on my podcast website, agencysecrets.com. You can go to this. You can book a call with me. I even do a boot camp to help you start selling websites. I've got a 6-day boot camp I'm really excited about. And you can go to website agencysecrets.com. We can dive in depth as to how to structure the website or even get some cool stuff here. But for this conversation,
which is important. I think that's great that you have that. And we might have to do this again to go into that, because I feel like it's so important to be able to confidently have that conversation that you just had, which is, no, I don't really want to hear about what you think your website should look like. I can tell you what it should look like, and I can prove that with proven designs or structures of designs. And it's, if you get a client insistent on the other way, it's probably one that you might want to think about letting go. Like, you don't have to take every website project, but I can tell you from personal experience, the people that are like, I want a Picasso of a website, are the worst projects, right? The people are like, oh yeah, tell me what I want. I want more customers. That's the kind of project you want to take on.
Yeah, we are not a custom website agency. We are inbound organic lead generating agency using websites. In fact, it would behoove our clients to let go of the grip that they have thinking they need to own their website. Like, that's an archaic mindset. A website is a depreciating asset. It is not something that you want to invest a ton of money in up front. You want to have something that's going to stay relevant. And if you look at a lot of these guys that have had sites for 10 plus years, you know how much content they have on that doesn't matter anymore and is actually a distraction from what they really want to accomplish, which is lead gen, right? So we can go into depth of the anatomy of a lead generating website. You can contact me here, or Chase, we can do another website conversation. But yeah, I do have my next 60-day boot camp is starting in August. Would love to connect with you guys if you're watching this. Or even just connect, even if it's in the future and you're watching a replay. This is how you can get in touch with me, website agencysecrets.com. So, I always tell my clients that I've had a website for 15 years. Is it fair that the new bro opening up the new facility that's not offering his quality services, is it fair that he's getting the new market share? And the answer is no, it's not fair, right?
Of course not.
Fair. It's not fair that the new guy is getting the new market because he's not as good as the old guy, right? Like if I'm a consumer and I want the best quality instruction, my PPC customer has the higher probability of providing that better quality instruction. But the consumers are choosing the new guy in this particular story because his website was better. So I tell my clients, I say, well, Google says that they want to present the best results for our searchers. So if Google says we want to present the best results, why didn't they present that best instructor? Now, if you ask your clients, are you the best HVAC guy in town? They're going to say, yeah. You're going to ask your plumber, are you the best plumber in town? He's like, yeah, right? Because they're entrepreneurs. We're narcissistic. That's how we operate, right? But if they think that they're the best, but the consumers think that their competitor is better because of their website when they Google online, they're not playing Google's game. So if you really believe that you're the best, you owe it to your community to invest into your website and online presence. And the reason why you owe it to your community is because you need to protect your community from poor experiences. And what I mean by that is this story I told you where this guy opened up a gyms, took over the #1 organic ranking. He is how stories like this happen. Here we go. We tried personal training once. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we tried it once. It didn't work out for us, right? Like if you're in the fitness niche, how many gym owners hear that? Or, if you're an agency, we tried Facebook ads once, didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
heard that one.
I'm too scared to go to the dentist, right? Okay, well, it's because I didn't go to the good dentist. Massages aren't worth it, right? If you're in the health and wellness niche or a dentist niche, right? So I always tell it, if you offer the best massage in town and you don't have anyone that says that, right? Then what that means is you have to invest into your digital equipment. How much money did you spend on your equipment? Right. What about your digital equipment? Right. So if your competitor is offering lower quality services, you owe it to your community to talk to me about your website, because you got to give a real and accurate picture to Google of who is the best in town. And if you believe you're the best in town, I can make sure Google knows that too.
Yeah, that's a great, I love that angle of it, which is to Google. It's
Exactly.
not what you think is a great site, it's what Google thinks is a great site. And agencies can help you get there.
Yes.
I like
And
that.
if you're a high level agency, you can speak with confidence because let me hear this. Well, okay, actually, this is the future point, but literally anything you make in high level will be better than their old DIY Wix site, or they're paying some dude in somewhere far away and he doesn't know how to access his domain anymore and he doesn't support it anymore. Like I promise you, like you can do a better job, right? So think of your website as digital equipment. That's why I tell my clients, and it really gets through their heads.
Sure,
So
especially in that niche, that makes a lot of sense.
So right now, a percentage of their local community is actively interested. They're Googling, and those are free clicks, free organic traffic. I don't want to burst the PPC people's budgets, but some of my clients get so many organic inbound website leads, they turn off their Facebook ads because they don't have to anymore. They have enough volume just from their website. It's really quite cool. So yeah,
That's how I love to sell ads, to be honest, and SEO, because it's like once the SEO starts working, you dial back your ad budget. Wouldn't that be great? It's like, oh, that would be fantastic.
And that's what I mean by like total niche authority. Like you can own more, right? So right now, if you're doing Facebook ads and PPC to the unaware consumer, what if you also could do Google search and website SEO for active research? And in the local business niche, this isn't hard. Like, and again, we'll do a future session or go to website agencysecrets.com. I can talk to you. You don't have to be an SEO wizard because local SEO is like you can follow a pattern and do the same thing, the same SOP, and you will rank them in their local towns. And my big disclaimer is I'm not talking like New York City is not a local town. I'm talking like North Carolina, right? I'm talking like, even you can go like, Austin, Texas, or like there's so many suburbs that these guys are pulling from. And it's not hard to own that local market, especially if their competitors are not investing into it. Now is the time because a lot of guys aren't. They see Facebook as like the gold mine. They spend all their money there and they neglect their free clicks on Google because they think they're too scared of it, and that's where you can help them. So as a business, what's the experience? Just Google search your keywords and you ask yourself, do other people look better than me based upon this experience? And so if the purpose of the website is to create the best possible experience for these searchers, right? It's not to talk about yourself. It's not to talk about yourself. It's not to convince them they need your service. They're already searching for you, right? It's only to convince them that you're the best provider to choose. And this, my friends, is how I shift their mindset away from how I want my website to work or look to will they trust me to get more leads for their business through their website? And therefore, I control the design process. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. If they want color schemes or their images or whatever, of course, but the skeleton itself, what we build at my agency or what you can have someone else build for you within HighLevel, you can create a template, like 10 different designs, right? Proven designs. You can A/B test these designs across your niche or another platform, whether it's in HighLevel or my platform, whatever, and fulfillment becomes scalable. Website fulfillment is impossible if you're doing custom designs one-off. It's only possible if you have these proven skeletons, and then you can dress up those skeletons any way they want with their color schemes, logos, pictures, etc. But the skeletal structure remains the same and the platform remains the same, which is important because the platform will be the load speed. The platform will be the device compliance stuff, how you use the devices. And that's what HighLevel brings for you and what they're constantly evolving. Why? So hopefully like you guys see a taste of how to sell websites in a different way, right?
Totally.
And if your mind is on fire and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for, and you need a little bit of extra help to like take it across the finish line, you want to see my pitch deck or you want to, talk with me again, website agencysecrets.com. You can contact me there. Okay, let's talk about the money side of things. Why websites reduce churn by up to 30%. So in 2015, a big company bought my agency and I became a part of a corporate machine. I work for the man. But I got some really cool MBA level training. And one of the things that they taught us, they bought a bunch of software companies, which is 97 Display. Consumers who buy 2 or more products or services from the same company are 30% less likely to leave. And this is true across like people who serve niches, right? That's why
We
Apple.
could, it's funny because we could that's almost the exact figure that we saw when we did internal um, investigations across the, I don't know how many 20,000 agencies that we've worked with since we got started. The top two factors to reduce churn, the number one is offering more than one service.
Yep.
So right on the money.
And same thing with restaurants. Restaurants have a big thing. If you go to a restaurant 2 times,
Yeah.
like you're likely going to come back. If you come 3 times, you're like there for life. So if you're an agency, what kinds of things can you also sell? So some people do like email, drip campaign marketing. They've got SaaS now, websites, PPC. And so that's something I talk with a lot of agency owners. I look at the marketing pie, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to make your pie better, slice the pie better. You want to look at where are your customers also spending other money and then create that product. And so websites and PPC are like peanut butter and jelly, like they go perfectly together because you need both in many ways. They complement each other in many ways. And then you can keep that customer's business. So here's how you can grow twice as fast without selling anything more. It's called reducing churn. I did a big exercise. I said, I sell my websites at $325 monthly recurring revenue. And then we're doing like PPC at like about $850. And I said, what if I only saved 1 account a month? And what if I saved a PPC account every month, someone wants to cancel, I save it. And if I sold them a website in the process, 1 a month, what is that worth to me in 12 months time?
A lot.
And the math was $170,000. Right now, those prices aren't crazy, but I'm saying if I had one PPC person not leave, and then I sold them a $325 website. So could you like hire a person to just do this on your agency? Like, yeah, probably. And that's called reducing churn. Reducing churn is better than even selling, because if you reduce churn, it's cheaper to save a customer than to sell a new one. Always. So what happens is that it's easier for you as an agency owner to go and convince a stranger that you're the bee's knees than it is to convince an unhappy customer that you're sorry, or that you want to do better, or that you want to change and grow, or to deal with the emotions. And so we shy away from anti-churn, but anti-churn is where the money's at. You know? And so at my agency, we did struggle with churn, but we stemmed it down substantially. I have a full-time staff member whose one job is to resell churn requests. And during COVID, obviously it was hard. We had a lot of shutdown businesses, but he does a fantastic job and pays many, many, many dividends. If you guys want this calculator, you can plug in your PPC and maybe what you think you could charge for websites. If you guys want this, it's a really simple spreadsheet, but you can play around with these numbers. I'm happy to just share it with you or send you the spreadsheet. You can just ping me on Facebook if I'm tagged in this post. Or drop raise your hand in the comment sections, or even go to website agencysecrets.com. I'm happy to share this calculator with you. It's real simple, but the money is there, and you can plug around with your average PPC MRR and then what a website you could charge. And even if you're only charging $100 for a website, or even less than $850 for your PPC stuff, it's really quite compelling if you plug in the numbers. So, and I hinted at this already, but yeah. Websites will also improve your PPC appointment rate. This is why they go together. When people book an appointment through your outbound funnel, they Google the business name. And if websites crap or non-existent, or they whatever, then they shy away. I had a gym once that told me they had someone pull up for their appointment, whip out their phone, Google the business name, put their phone down, and drive away. Like, how about that? That's sad. But yeah, websites do improve appointment rates. It helps them confirm their decision. So a couple big dominoes. You don't know how to build a website or technology. It's overwhelming. HighLevel can fix this. I can fix this with my agency. This is a bigger conversation, the technical side, but to help you understand this, you can hire someone to build out some skeletons for you in HighLevel, and it's not that expensive. And then you could sell like the maintenance of it. Now, where you would need to educate yourself is simple local SEO. It's really not that complicated. You can learn it in a week's time, or you can learn it from start to finish in 60 days with my boot camp, starting in August. But but yeah, it's like the technology, don't be scared. If you know how to run Facebook ads, you know how to do this. And whether you're using HighLevel, or you can find, one of my favorite things to do if you don't want to do any of this is, let's say you're in the CrossFit niche. There are CrossFit website companies that you can go and you can ask them to be your fulfillment partner, and then you can upsell them. So there's a big CrossFit agency. They charge $179 a month. You can upsell it up to like $400 to a CrossFit gym, and then you sell it for 400. They do all the work in fulfillment, right?
Yeah,
So
there's a bunch of great white label partners within the HighLevel community as well. So if you're watching this and you do like the idea of having somebody else do the fulfillment of the website, put your hand up in the community. You'll get a bunch of people offering to help.
And my agency does this as well. So I have a handful of HighLevel agencies that are PPC focused, that white label my website services and then upsell us to their customers. And it's been working out really, really great. And we have a full integration with HighLevel. You can plug those leads right in, trigger your snapshots, and it's really, you get more slices of that marketing pie.
Nice.
So yeah, so hopefully we solved this. The technology, you can overcome it. We can talk more in depth about it, but hopefully you can see this idea of how to sell websites differently by controlling the design specs, knowing how to shift to lead gen. You understand the value, and if you really want your hand held, I will be that guru. If you would like, I know I've talked about it, a few times already. So here you go, websiteagencysecrets.com. So yeah, that's what I had to talk about today. And hopefully we've taken some good nuggets out of this, and you've been able to shift your mindset away from a design-centered website build to a performance-centered website build.
I think that's really the key. And I think if that's resonating with you and you want to, reach out to Tim and go deeper, I think it's a valuable exercise and sort of mindset to get yourself further into. Because like I said, if you slip up, and I can tell you this from experience, if you're the operations guy, you've got this lock, stock, and barrel, but your CEO slips up and makes some promises on the design side, it will go off the rails, and you don't want to be on that side of the fence. Like those website projects where the customer in their mind thinks that they're going to, create this Picasso of a website that they're going to show to 10 different people, and all 10 of those people are going to weigh in, it's just going to be a disaster. Where you need to be is what we're talking about here, which is get them to understand that it's not about any of that. It's about what Google thinks. Your skeletons, as we're talking here, are what Google wants, right? It's not rocket science. Once you have the formula down into the skeletons, it's just about giving them that last touch, which is, what's your color palette? What's your logo? Do you have images? Great. We're going to use your images instead of stock images, that kind of stuff. And then it becomes a very manageable project. In my opinion, those are fantastic projects. And especially when you get into this mindset of having the website WAS instead of 3 payments and done, it actually becomes way more lucrative. And like we just talked about, reduces churn.
Like you don't have to charge a couple $1,000 up front. For us, it's $325 to get started and $325 a month. Now, granted, the labor is a little bit more intense up front, but what we offer at our agency is an annual design upgrade. So, our labor over the course of the year is we're creating new skeletons, new designs. We're testing those designs, and then we're implementing those designs into, like if they want to upgrade it, boom, they get a free upgrade every year. The
one thing that we didn't talk about, and I don't know if you utilize this, but in my experience, it's true that most clients, if you ask them about their previous website, what did you pay for that? And how did it go? It was a freaking nightmare. We paid $10,000. It was the worst. We continued to pay them this webmaster fee that I don't understand what it is, because every time we asked them to do something, they would say, oh, it's going to be more money on top of the webmaster fee. So if that's the case, then this sell becomes even more of a slam dunk, because it's like no huge upfront costs. I'm sure, if I'm charging $500 a month or $400 a month, I'm happy to change photos on your website on a monthly basis. Sure, send them over, like no problem. Yeah. And that's just a night and day different experience than the one that they've already gone through.
Yeah, especially if you do have the types of clients that are a little bit technical and they want to log in and make simple changes. You know, we'll have to see, like I restrict a lot of certain access, like they can't go in and mess up all their SEO, like on my platform.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if there's ways to limit some stuff, but again, that attitude that you just had, Chase, which is like the dream client, is achieved when they accept that their website needs to evolve, needs to pivot, and is for Google's eyes and for their new consumers' eyes, not them. So
Right.
like a lot of people might be listening, might be like, oh, well, have you read Storybrand by I think it's Jason Miller. Is that his name? Miller.
I don't know. I haven't read that one, but I hear a lot of people talking about it lately.
Storybrand is all about how to tell your story well. And you know what? I get it and I love it. And there's an appropriate place for Storybrand methodology. And it's not on the homepage of your local business website. It's like on their bio, or it's even on like your agency website. Like on your local business website, local business websites is little local business problems. It's someone Googled, is this the best place? And they're looking at 5 websites, who sticks out? And when at my agency, I'm able to track the data across like traffic flows. And so I'm able to see where all the traffic seems to go, and they all follow the same pattern. And it's like I said, it's do they have what I'm looking for? What does society say about them? And also who the heck is this person?
Well, one thing that I would point out is I don't think a lot of people have realized it's not just about how websites have changed, it's about how the internet has changed, right? Because 5 years ago, you kind of did need to do a little more storytelling about everything on your homepage because you didn't have like Instagram was what it was today. Like nowadays, Instagram and other social networks are such a huge part of your picture, right? So let that stuff happen there. And I agree with you. Let's focus on what needs to happen here. And this is about Google, and this is about converting prospects into leads, right? This isn't about 100 pictures because you want to put pictures on your website. No, let them go to Instagram for that.
Or your Facebook. And also, it's not like consumer behaviors have changed. We're a lot more finicky. We spend a lot less time. Now, there is a percentage of your traffic that will spend a long time on your site. So the idea of having content is appropriate, but a lot of that content can be on inner pages. A lot of that content can be on your blog. It doesn't have to be like, you know, your custom dev'd out fancy website that is going to be a nightmare for everyone. And that's the shift of websites. So if you can understand this, speak intelligently about it, get a couple good case studies under your belt, you can sell it like hotcakes. Now, I went to this event and I stood up on that stage and I talked similar to how I'm talking now. And I had 13 people buy WASP contracts from me without looking at any of my work. They didn't look at any example websites.
That's pretty cool.
How about that for buying into the idea that's so not design oriented that they didn't even look at it?
Well, let me ask you a question. Did they see like wireframes? Did they see the skeleton?
They only asked to see their options in the fulfillment process. So, okay, they signed up, we do an onboarding call. I'd be like, these are your different options, right? That's
Gotcha.
when they started looking at wireframes, started looking at the skeletons. But
Because
they
honestly, going back to getting them in the right mindset, that's where I love to show wireframes of the skeleton. And it's like, if you agree that this makes sense, we're going to do great together, right? Because it's about this, not about what we fill it with. You know what I mean?
I also say, if you have the most beautiful, aesthetically pleasing website in the world that gets you no leads, then it's not beautiful to me. Or if you have an ugly website that's like super high conversion rate.
How many times have you seen that? I've seen that so many times. I have had to eat crow so many times with my team internally because I would be so upset that something looks so terrible. And then it outperforms the beautiful thing that I made some designer spend extra hours doing to please me. And then you're just so embarrassed, but you're just like, how is that possible? But hey, data doesn't lie, right?
Yeah, and sometimes conversion is based upon, like you said, load speed, like even form technology. Like if you want to go into the nitty-gritty details, like the technology behind a form, how to prevent spam, how to load correctly, is how to get the fields to be accurate. That's all huge. And if you're building websites on WordPress, there's only a billion bad options you can choose. So like choosing a platform, either white labeling a current partner in the space, or a platform that handles these things instead of some unsupported form builder on WordPress, you'll get yourself into some trouble over there.
That's a good point. That was an eye opener for me years ago when we moved our hosting to WP Engine and found out that they actually have a blacklist of plugins. And they'll tell you, like, now you can't host that site with us because unless you swap that plugin out, because that plugin's garbage, it's toxic. It's, you're just like, oh man, shoot, it was free. I thought it was great. It's like, no, that's a bad idea. But you wouldn't know unless you work with somebody who knows what they're doing.
And I think I made a post in the group, which is how Chase, you and I got connected. And I said something like, every time I see just another WordPress site, it's an instant sale for me. So what that is the automatic title tag on a WordPress site typically is just another WordPress site. And if you have a website developer that doesn't know to change the title tag on a website, like, they're a bad website provider. Now, if you want to sell websites and you don't know what I'm talking about, let's connect. But it's literally like changing the footer tag or something. Like, it's literally like it's 101.
I think it's great. And I think, again, it pairs so well with the WAS model.
Yeah.
Because when you can call something out like that, immediately, if it's my website, I'm embarrassed, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course, I'm not happy with my website. But the last thing that I want to hear is, cool, it'll be like, I don't know, $6,000, give me half up front and we'll get started. It's like, that's just like, no. But if the alternative is, oh, it's $350 a month, okay, and I get out of this nightmare scenario, let's talk.
And for $350 a month, I want to be the guy that you call next time something weird happens, you don't quite know. Like, hey, like, I get calls all the time. Like, hey, how do I do this? How do I get my email set up? Right. That's not necessarily within my service level, but I love the fact that they think of me when they have a technical issue. Because if they stop paying me, guess who they don't get to call?
Right.
Now, granted, it's not super sustainable, but like, now I want to be the guy that people call anytime they have any website question. Hey, what should my blog post be?
Exactly.
I get to advise them. I get to save them. Like, one guy called me up. He's like, hey, I'm trying to do this campaign. Do you think I should do a shopping cart ad? And I was like, it's a dance studio. It's like, I'm so glad you called me. I have something you could buy instead of that. How much is it going to cost you? $3,000. Okay, let me sell you something for $3,000 to do a better result.
Exactly. Well, that's why I love websites paired with HighLevel, right? Because if I'm selling a website, I'm going to take everything that we talked about today, and I'm going to incorporate this. In 2021, heading towards 2022, you would be an absolute sucker to just buy a website. Mm-hmm. Like, if your website doesn't go further than just being a website, if it's not giving you, a CRM to keep track and organize all of the customers and leads that you have coming in, if it's not, if it doesn't have nurture automation on the back end to help you convert more of the leads that come through the front end, like all of this stuff, it all ties together. You don't want to buy just a website, especially not one that you're going to pay $6,000 for over 3 payments and then it's done and they don't want to hear from you again. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a good opportunity to sell them the whole thing in one, tied together, and then you're the guy they trust. And like you said, call me if you're not sure if you could click on that email that's in your inbox. Like, I'll be happy to help you out with that, because you're not going to go anywhere, right? You're not going to churn, and you're going to be a customer for years.
Yeah.
So what's the URL again? If people are watching, they like what they hear, they want to go deeper. I would encourage you to go deeper, because it sounds like Tim's got some really nice structural, proven, historical. I hate the word templates, but you see where I'm going. And it would be very valuable if you're going to sell websites to understand what works. What's the website again, Tim?
Website Agency Secrets. Thanks for bringing that up. This is like everything.
It's a good domain.
Heck yeah, it's a good domain. And also, you can check out the podcast. So the podcast I have is a lot of this stuff. How do you structure streaming on all your favorite channels? We can nerd out more about websites. So I do a boot camp. It's 60 days, and it is to help agency owners begin to sell websites and fulfill them, know how to price them, know simple SEO stuff, to answer all these buzzing questions. So if you feel like this is a new opportunity and you need a vehicle to get to the place where you are actually converting that opportunity into money for your agency, this is the fast track to get there.
especially I would add, if you run PPC ads and you don't handle the website, I've actually been shocked because we've worked with a lot of PPC consultants over the past decade at how many PPC companies are happy to just run ads and send them to whatever page the client gives them. That's just insanity. Like, you're setting your own ads up to fail, right? Like, you need to be the one that's selling the website or at the very least the landing page for your own ads. So I would highly encourage you head over there.
Yeah. So if you feel like you have, we've only talked for 45 minutes, Chase, so we can't possibly answer all this stuff. Like I said, my course is 60 days, but hopefully we answered a lot. If you feel like you're in any of these, hopefully you see the money. Hopefully you understand the technology is possible for you, even if you don't have the technical acumen yet, because you can leverage the technology of something like HighLevel or another agency in the space, or even my agency, right? And even if you want your handheld, all of these are now solved for you. So you have no excuse to not consider adding websites to your service offering. Go, dear high levelers. What do you call us, Chase?
High levelers, that works.
And let's go forth and help these small businesses impact their communities more effectively. That's what gets me up
from the bros.
Knowing that these entrepreneurs change the world, and we help them do it more efficiently, and we help them save money and become more caught up with new technology, and really help them get their message out. And websites is such an important way to do this. So
cool. Well, Tim, thanks so much for coming on and talk about it.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Jace. I'll talk soon, everyone.
Thanks for everyone for watching. We will see you in the next one.